And we might be live. Maybe. I'll give it a second for this to catch up. So here I'm talking to myself awkwardly. Oh, look, you guys have lots of questions or comments already I haven't read. Eeh. Let's see. Okay, it's loading. And is there audio? Yep, there's audio. Okay, so tonight I am Pan Pastels. Just didn't think that day was coming. So what happened was the people from Pan Pastels contacted me and asked if I was interested in trying them out, making a video with them. So, okay, I can't say no, especially because you guys keep asking me to use them. So that's how this happened. All of the products that I'm using besides the paper tonight were provided to me by Pan Pastels. Now, first I want to give you a little bit of, kind of show you what comes in the box when you get these. JPC13R, no, I am not recording because I've actually just got my little webcam up. I'm not recording this one tonight since this will be a start to finish type project just for this. Thank you though. But what they sent me, the first thing, you've got the Pan Pastel box set of 20 colors. And what this comes with, it's actually pretty cool. You get several tools in addition. You get these little tubes of color that are stacked on top of each other. Now that's not going to be super practical for working. So they also, and actually, let me show you too, at the bottom of each tube, they've got different tools, different blending sponges. The box also, and I'm guessing all the boxes come with it, some of the different soft tool blending sponges. They also sent me a whole bunch of the soft tool blending sponges. Now, the way that you are going to want to display these, let me put these back. I stacked them up so I could show you what it looks like, how they come, if you guys were getting them to start with. 1 second, because I have to put these where they go. We'll just shove those in place. The palette that these come with is really cool. It makes it very practical to work with. I've not used mine, but I've tested these out by actually artist Wendy Lane. I got to test hers out 2 years ago. Okay, so what these come with then, or what it actually doesn't come with, I recommend you buy this though if you are going to use Pan Pastels. This tray is so handy. Put the lid on so nothing falls out because I don't have them all locked in. But you can get this palette tray that all those little tubes I just showed you, they just pop the individual colors right in place. And it's just a clear plastic palette, and it has a lid on it. So let's pull that lid off so I can show you this. So the lid is just clear, pretty easy for storage. I'm really happy about this because if this is something that I end up loving, I don't have to run out and buy a ton of, like with colored pencils, I have to get a new pastel box. I use my three drawer pastel boxes to store those. This already has something to store it in that's really nice and made specifically for them. So I'm actually pretty cool about this. Do I like Harry Potter? I love Harry Potter. I actually just got a coffee mug that when I haven't tried it yet, I just washed it last night, but when it gets hot, when you put the hot coffee in it, the little feet from the Marauders map, am I saying that right? Or I'm mixing something up with Warcraft, but the little feet light up or show up, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we are going to get started. I'm going to be drawing clouds on this one. Now, I've never done, like the only time I've used Pan Pastels in the past was just like I said with Wendy Lane, where I just did a quick test. So, I mean, I understand how they work, and I used to work in pastels when I was younger until they started weirding me out that they were dry. But, so this is definitely going to be new for me. Be gentle and give me advice or tips if you see me doing something that there's a better way to do it. But they also sent me, I don't have it in reach, but a bunch, like a folder of just tips, lessons, and stuff on using Pan Pastels. I've not read any of those yet. I'm going to after tonight's. And the reason that I didn't do that first, because you would think, well, why wouldn't you just read those before you start? Because I want to just experiment with these, get a feel for them, and then that way when I go and read the tutorials, the instructions, or watch videos of other artists using these, it's going to make a lot more sense because I've made the mistakes tonight. Just kind of fumbled through, got a feeling for this. So that is why I've not read those and why I'm just gonna get started. So I'm gonna use this soft tool, the one with the point. I'm just gonna use this for sketching out approximately where my cloud shape is going to go. Could have used a pencil, but I don't think that far in advance. That's so cool, Kristen. Kristen said, a few weeks ago I wanted help for my exams where I needed help on coloring white flowers, and you told me that white is never really white. I'm glad to say I got all of my marks. That's awesome. Oh, where is the little container? Or the fact that I can't open packaging tonight concerns me for the rest of this project. So with this, these come with these little sponges that you just slide right on. But I do that a lot with when I try new mediums. I don't usually, and you see me do this with Smart Art Box all the time. I mean, I read the instructions on the Smart Art Box, but I don't normally go watch other people's videos first or do anything like that. I like to have my first time, just experiment with it, play with it, make a mess, so that when I then do watch a tutorial, then when I do read like an actual instructions like what the Pan Pastels came with, it's going to make so much more sense to me because I've experienced that. I don't have this on all the way. There we go. Okay. Paul said UArt 500 may be a little toothy, so don't give up on them if you don't like the feel. Better on UArt 800 or Pastel mat. Thanks for that tip. I am using UArt 500 just because that's what I have here, but thank you for that. If it is, I will pick some up. Eric said, I like how you're going to just get started on the pastel pans. Yeah, I'm just going to make a mess. I'm going to start with just some light blue. Let's see how much this sticks on here. I actually have no idea. Ooh, that's pretty bold. We'll use this just to sketch out where I want my clouds to be. And I don't have to be perfect. I mean, the way that these layer, I'm going to be able to cover things up and go around them. I just want to get a general feel. Faith wants to know if the pastels are chalky. Well, I'm trying not to touch them with my fingers because they're chalky enough. They do freak me out. So I'm avoiding touching them as much as possible. It's funny because like what is it? Powder blender with colored pencil, those start to get a bit chalky, but those don't bug me when it's on my hands. Like you've seen me blend with my fingers with those, but for whatever reason, pastels, charcoal, chalk, oh, they freak me out. Do not like the feel. And just in case, I actually brought in a spray bottle so I could wash off my fingers if I make a mess and get them all over myself and it starts to freak me out, so I can wash my hands as I move on with this. What are some of the papers you guys like best? So Paul, I think it was Paul, suggested the UArt 800. What are other papers you guys use when you use Pan Pastels? Got a mess of clouds over here. Just kind of give myself an idea. One of the things that I really like about pastels is that you can get that look of an airbrush without an airbrush. It's one of the few mediums that really you can get the same look you would with an airbrush. So that's definitely a bonus for those who want that look but don't want to go the airbrushing route. Okay, I think that's probably enough, honestly, for me to have an idea of where stuff's going. Okay, let's see. Camellia said, pans go on anything. I've used Fabriano watercolor paper and seen them used on cardboard. Really? That's interesting. Whoops, that's scroll too far. Gail said, hello all. I see the chat, but the only black screen and the spinny thing. Refresh your page. Just hit the refresh button. Rachel said, what fixative do you use, and do you think it would work with these Pan Pastels? Okay, so the fixative that I use for colored pencils with powder blender is the brush and pencil touch-up texture. No, I don't think it's not meant for pastels. It's not a suitable, it's meant for wax and oil base. That is not what this is. All I have here right now, and if this is something I like, I'm going to research. Actually, I'll probably talk to Jason Morgan because he uses pastels all the time, or Sheldine from Sheldine Fine Art, see what they like. But what I have right now is the super cheapy Krylon workable fixative. It says it's for pastels. It's probably not the best. I mean, it's the same company who makes spray paint, so I'm thinking it's probably not going to be the best, but it's something that I had here for tonight if I felt like I needed it. Okay, so let's just start shading in. Well, that's fast and really soft. So it'll be interesting to see how much this eats through the Pan Pastel sponges, because these are pretty, they're very, very soft. And I'm wondering if laying the initial colors down, if this is the best way to go. And actually, let's try this too. I don't know why I'm using this one. This is the one I used to draw out. That's probably not the best shape for this. I've got some shading tools here. I want to go with the rounded one. So it's more like what a filbert would be with the rounded tip. That way it has the look that I would want for clouds. So we will pull one of those out. Let's see, pastel matte. I've got a suggestion for. Where did that go? Jacques said pastel matte, so I'll have to look into that. And that Jason Morgan uses it. Well, then that's a pretty good idea that that would be the thing I'll probably buy. One second. Oh, I don't have the right. There we go. Paul said that the lighting on the paper is washing out what I'm doing. No, the pencils are washing out what I'm doing because that's the color I, like that's actually how I did it. It looks right. That looks about what it looks like to me. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I've got a decent amount on there that time. Yeah, this one's going to be better for moving through this faster. How nice and soft that is. I do like this. One of the complaints I have with pastels, or one of the reasons that, besides how it feels, that I was never super excited with them, and really with charcoals too, before I got to where it started to freak me out how they felt on my hands, one of the things that I didn't like is they're harder to store without having them make a mess. Like they're never, like an oil paint isn't going to smudge when it's dry. With these, you've got to be really careful with how you store them. Now I've got glassine, so I can put the glassine in between, and I do have better ways to store them than I did when I was younger. But that's always something that I've never super loved about pastels, charcoal, chalk, is that they never, like even when you spray them with the fixative, they can always be smudged. They can always be damaged pretty, fairly easily. You'll always have when you frame them, the matte, like if you talk to a framer, they'll tell you that, like within several years, it has to be rematted because the dust, even with the fixative, can start to build up at the bottom. So that's one reason when I was younger, I started avoiding it even before I started getting really neurotic about the charcoal or anything like that touching my fingers. Just because I didn't have, and back then I couldn't afford to matte and frame stuff. So it was kind of a challenge for me. Now I've got my boxes, I don't think you can see them, they're behind me, that I store some of my bigger colored pencil pieces in, and that with glassine, that's a really good way to store it. But back when I first started, I was putting stuff in a, like a full, normal portfolio where the pages turn, and I felt like I was always making such a mess. I just didn't know the right things to store my stuff in. But that originally was one of the things that I didn't love about pastels. But oh my gosh, just doing this makes me really happy. And it's not on my hands at all, so you guys were right about that. So far I'm able to not be messy. This is fun. Let's see. JPC13 Art said the Canson Inktense, probably spelled that wrong. Yeah, Inktense, I bet would be good for these. It might be, and I've actually got a lot of that. I should give it a try. Paul said, okay, that I've already answered. Whoops, and scrolled too far. The pan pastels, are they bothering me? Not yet. So far, I'm pretty happy about that. Robin said she's been trying the UArt 400, and it's great, having trouble with the definition. So the UArt 400 is going to be even rougher than this. I've not tried that one. Not even for colored pencils. Faith wants to know, those pastels are the same as pastel pencil lead. I believe so, or similar to. I'm sure the formula is slightly different because usually it would be when you change the way that things are. I mean, like if you look at Inktense, it's the same for the Inktense pencils and blocks, only the light fast ratings change, which tells me there's something different about them. Minor, but something different. The way that these are stored into a pan, I would guess, are somewhat different so that they come off softer, but I'm honestly not sure. I haven't researched that. Paul said that the bulky looking sponges hold up better. Good to know. You guys are giving me the best tips. Gloria said, what is the size of paper you're using tonight? I think it's a 9 by 12, maybe? I'm not positive, honestly. I should have looked at that. See how you get that nice airbrush? This is the thing that I have always loved with pastels. That looks like an airbrush, and it's way faster to get down there. Maybe not faster, but easier, I guess. It's not, let's see, the fallout. I put a white paper towel because I wanted to see how much pencil or pastel would fall out onto the paper or onto the below my easel. So far, I don't really see anything. That was the other thing. Like when I use pastel pencils, I always make an absolute mess and have a lot of fallout. And so far, using it like this, I'm not having any. I'm kind of excited. Even just with this one color, this is pretty. I have been so anxious to try these. It's been driving me crazy because I needed to finish that Beetlejuice portrait, which is done. She's back there. So I made myself wait because I knew once I started this, I'd lose interest. If I don't finish a project, if I move from project to project, like I'm working on this and this one and all these other ones, I lose interest in some of them and I don't get stuff finished. So I had to make myself finish that one before I let myself play with these. But I have been so anxious since they came, like what, 2 weeks ago? I'm liking how easy you can let that stay light in the background too without, like I'm not actually having to mix white to get that nice and soft. Let's see some more questions here. They have sponge wedges. I have those, Jacqueline. They actually sent me, they're down here somewhere. They sent me a bunch of those too. Lee said Spectra Fixative seals the pastels without changing the colors. There's no odor, is case and base, and used by the old masters. Thanks. If you, trying to think, I need to remember that. You know what? I should write, yeah, here. Just gonna write that down really quick because I'm gonna need to buy some. So let's go with, I just need to create a quick note. I love my note phone because, oh my gosh, I do this all the time with notes. Spectra, what did you say it was? Spectra Fixatives. Thanks, Lee. I will be buying some of that. Oh, I've got an email. It is weirdly, hold on, I have to open my window. It is super quiet in here and it's weirding me out. Normally I have this window open and it's hot. Hold on. See if we can get some air moving in here. Okay, back to, oh, and Wendy suggested Lacoste Fixative. Now, are you guys using it as like a workable fixative or just a sealer when you're done? Paul said, try mixing a couple of colors on a side paper, maybe add some magenta to the blue. I don't even need to. I've already got the blues that I want. The blending is, actually, I'm going to start pulling some of that in now. I've got some really nice colors to start darkening some of that blue up. So one of the things that's really cool about art, within a couple of projects, I'll be perfectly competent in working with this medium. Because the rules of art are the same no matter what medium you're working in. Understanding lights and darks, understanding color, understanding, you know, the way that you layer. That's why you'll have artists who will do something for the first time and be just, it looks like they've been doing that medium for years. As long as they understand art, they're good at art in general. Like you understand the concept of contrast and values and those sorts of things. That's the hard part with art really to learn, more so than the medium. So most artists are going to be able to switch from medium to medium. So if you find yourself, you're like, okay, I'm really good with colored pencil, I'm really good with graphite, but I'm interested in trying another medium. The learning curve isn't as hard on the new medium as it was your first medium. It's usually a little bit easier to get the hang of. Within a few paintings, you get the idea of the techniques, and you can apply those techniques to whatever new medium you're working in. Now, whether you like that new medium, that's a whole other thing. But I mean, as far as actually being able to use it and know where to put the lights and where to put the darks, if you've learned how to do that in another medium, that's going to apply across the board. So don't be afraid to try something new. I know a lot of people think, well, I can only, you know, I need to get really good at colored pencil before I try oil painting or whatever the other medium is. And you don't. I mean, a lot of that, what you learn in one is going to apply to other mediums. Grab one of these clean guys. Dixie Art said, I once drew something in pastels and it completely vanished after I sprayed fixative onto it. Do you know why this happened? Different fixatives just don't play nice with different mediums, like whether it be pastel, I need a rounded one. Whether it be pastels or whatever, you're going to have certain things just don't work nice. And I know what you're talking about because I've had it happen before where I had to keep going back and adding more to it. Like it just didn't work real well. Oops, wrong side. Let's see if I can get a nice soft blend here without using my fingers, which is my goal. Is to, like, I really don't want to have to use my fingers. I know I can, but yeah, that looks nice. But yeah, the different fixatives, that'll do it. And a lot of times, even if it's a good fixative, if you spray it too heavy, too close to the work, you can do that. So you want to test it. You want to make sure you master spraying fixatives, varnishes, anything like that on a scratch paper, painting, whatever. Don't try it out for the first time on your finished project because what you experienced is really common. You want to make sure you understand how to use it and how to do that on another piece of paper. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the dark ones in now. So what I'm going to do, what's going to happen, everything's going to be kind of fuzzy and out of focus for a while. I'll come back through and tighten up edges later on as I layer. Wendy said that she uses workable fixative several times between the layers. It refreshes the tooth of the paper. Which fixative do you use? Jackie said, what is the first piece you've ever sold? I think it would have been a whale painting, probably orcas. I'm pretty sure it was one that I had a purple background. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure that was one of the first. Are these chalk pastels you're using? They're pan pastels. They're super soft. Let's see. Rohan said, how do you show white fur on white paper with colored pencils? White isn't white. That's the big thing you have to understand. Look closely at white. It's gray, it's blue, it's purple. It is not white. Only your white highlights are white. Nothing, white flowers, white anything. It's not white. You think it is. I mean, can look at that and go, okay, there's a white dog. But it's not real, like it's white, but it's not white when you go to paint it. When you're painting portraits, the white of the eyes, not really white. They are reflective. White is reflective. It's going to pick up the color around it. So you don't want to jump straight into white in most cases. It's not going to be the right choice. So if you're having a hard time with getting white fur on top of white paper, that tells me you're trying to make it white. It's not white. The only things that will be white in your piece, your work for the most part, are going to be the highlight in the eye. That's about it. In a few highlights around if the sun is hitting, depending on how the lighting is hitting it, that's really bright, but not many, not much. Okay. Is this the right size? I don't know if this one's right. Yeah, I guess. There we go. Let's mix some blue and some white. We'll start getting these clouds in here. Too blue. I need more white. Okay, I think we're caught up on questions. So let's start getting these in here. Now that I'm doing this, I can see I actually want my blue should be a lot darker than what I've got. So I'm going to go back to that for a bit. Like now, like the contrast between the white and the blue isn't dark enough. So when it was up against the white or the cream, I guess, of the paper, it seemed like it was dark on the dark side. But now that I'm doing the white, I can really see that contrast not dark enough. So let's get a lot more in there. I'm definitely happy that so far my hands are still clean, which means I'm not having a meltdown. Is the dust dangerous for chicken? Yeah, pastels I won't use around birds. It's dangerous. Technically, can be dangerous for people. There are a lot of pastel artists who wear masks when they work in it a lot, because it can. You don't want to inhale that dust. Some have had problems with. I forget what exactly the medical situation is, but I know that that can be a problem. So yeah, I would definitely not bring chicken in the room while I was working on with this. I considered that, and then thought, oh no, pastels, definitely not. These colors are really rich, really pigmented. More so than pastels I've used in the past. Well, pastel pencils. And it's staying really pigmented even when it blends in with the other color. Like, I'm not really having any trouble getting it to blend the way I want, which is nice. Let's just darken up this whole section here so that I can put some clouds on it. I don't dislike the UArt 500 with this. I'm definitely still going to try the 800 though. There's still really, there's a little bit of fallout, but not much. Are these pretty opaque or transparent? Right now, they're really opaque. At least the colors I've tried so far. Like, they're really, like, look at the white right there, how much that shows up. Maybe I should switch over to the pointy guy for the details. Well, that gives a really nice wispy look to those clouds. So when I draw clouds, I thought about putting the reference photo on the paper. It's something I got from Pixative. The thing is, I don't ever copy clouds exactly. I use them as just kind of an idea to make sure I get the shape of clouds about right, but I don't ever try to copy them exactly because it seems like unnecessary. They're clouds. They change shape. Like, there's no reason for me to spend extra hours to make it exactly like the reference photo. It doesn't make it look any more realistic. So that's why I don't have the reference photo here. But, so being pretty free on that. I just want them, my goal is just to have them look like clouds tonight. They don't have to look like the clouds in the photo. Ah, Lee said that he found out about the Spectra Fixative from a Jason Morgan video. Cool. Well, if Jason uses it, I trust that it's good. I really like his work with pastels. I was pretty excited. I messaged him about this too, and I got the Pan Pastel box. In the brochure, it had some of Jason's work in it. I was like, hey, I know him. It's like, I know a famous person. So this is very much like painting at this point. Like, it's painting with something that's easier to control. Like, that's one of the things with pastels. I've always found pastels to be much easier to control than painting. Much easier to learn to manipulate well, and they're a pretty fast medium to work in. So if you like something that goes pretty quickly, this is good. And I always felt like students had an easier time learning this than a lot of the other mediums that I taught. I mean, not that I taught pan pastels, but just pastels in general. How well do these erase? I actually have no idea. Let's find out. Meh, I wouldn't do it. It's kind of sticky. Now I have to get that off. That wasn't one of my best ideas. Oh, it erases, but it kind of smudges out. I don't think I would erase. I think I would just layer on top of something. At least on this paper, I don't like how that happened. Kind of made a mess. Jessica thinks I might be a pastel convert. We'll see. I mean, I'm not totally new to pastels, just pan pastels. But yeah, they're not super messy on my hands, so I do like that. I can definitely, like, I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to be a big project, like something more advanced, I guess, when I do the big review video type thing. And I don't know what I want to do yet. I have to decide. It's probably going to be wildlife. love how you can fuzz edges so much. That is something I have missed with pastels. Jack says, LOL, you are a famous person. No, I'm not. You're funny. So, random thought as I'm sitting here, like, boiling in here. I need to go turn the air down, I think. It is hot in here. But, did you see in the bottom? I don't know. Does it show on this? I have merch now. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. The Lachri merch. That cup you can get teal, by the way. I'm so excited. I bought a, as soon as I had the merch up, like within minutes, I was ordering it myself. I made the merch mainly because I want the hoodie for myself. I'm so excited to get it. I got the Carolina Blue, I think is the color it's called, hoodie. So excited. So that, I'll show you as soon as it gets here. I'm hoping maybe by next week it'll be here. I don't know how long they take. But I am really excited about the merch in there. I need to order myself a coffee cup too. I haven't done that yet. But it has the goldfish. Makes me happy. That will be like, I live in hoodies during, as like fall, winter. That's pretty much my, all I wear. So, or at least around the house. I mean, I wear nicer clothes when I go out, or jackets and stuff. But at home, I live in those. I pretty much live in my pajamas, essentially. Pajamas with a hoodie. So I'm pretty excited for those to come. Oh, I lost the chat. Hold on. Where did you guys go? Have I ever made an original character? I know it's not really your style, but maybe before. Not really. Nothing that I would have remembered. Obviously, nothing I remembered. I mean, I do doodles and drawing and stuff, but that's it. Yeah, Kitsy says we'll start a petition to make Lisa recognize herself as the famous person she is. You guys are funny. Robin said, to erase, you need your kneaded eraser. Ooh, good tip. Thank you, Robin. Phyllis says you're famous to us. You guys are too funny. Every time, like when I go to Hobby Lobby or to Michael's or whatever, I always look for the Inktense tin with my art on it. And I always make a big deal to my husband. Does this mean I'm famous now? I'm in the art supply store. Am I famous now? He says I have a big head and need to calm down. Let's see. Do I know the light fast ratings are on the Pan Pastels? I have no idea yet. I've done zero research on these. I will, though. I'll find out before I do, like, the actual review. Max said, hi, Lisa. This is Project. I can't say that. Project. Oh, it's a typo. Looks like you're having a great time. I am. You can use the lower part to paint the sea. Actually, I have, the photo I have has mountains in the background that look kind of cool. I just haven't gotten that far yet. Oh, I'm just going to share this because I can't believe my husband just texted. He just texted me that he burped and what it tasted like. Like, what is wrong with you? I didn't need to know that. Random. Okay, I saw that. Okay. I may as well share with you guys because that kind of set me back. Like, that was not a text I would have expected from him. Esme said it's her birthday yesterday and today is Val's. Happy birthday, guys. I didn't know it was Val's birthday. Dixie. Oh, where did that go? I just lost the comment that I was going to read. I don't know where it went. Okay. Oh, Dixie said you're more famous than me, therefore you're famous. Well, thanks. It's too funny. Phyllis said I'll have to make you a hooded long sweater. I just saw the new tin in our Hobby Lobby. Ooh, hooted. I can't talk. I missed my nap today, by the way, so I'm having a really hard time functioning right now. I normally take a nap every night, but every day. But I was laying there trying to fall asleep, and I had an idea for a painting, which I'm not going to bother telling you guys about until I get to the point of doing it. But it started, like, my brain just couldn't shut down. I was just pinpointing all the ideas for the idea, and I really should have taken a nap. I'm so tired now. So my brain is only partially functioning. I mean, less so than normal. I guess it's always only partially functioning, but it is, I'm really tired. So I apologize when I'm reading things wrong and not speaking clearly. So I'm actually mixing this kind of brick red color and purple, and it's giving me the most perfect color for these clouds. Actually, I'm just going to spread this around now. That's a nice kind of grayish purpley deep color. I'm pretty happy with this set of 20. When they contacted me, they asked what colors I wanted, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't have any, so enough to make a project. And so they sent me this one, and it really, like, I feel like I can make anything from this set of 20. I know they have a lot of colors, but I also don't feel like I have to, I don't feel like I'm missing anything major right now. Maybe some more grays or maybe a cream would be cool, but for the most part, like, this really gives me a good set of colors to work with. So see what I mean, though, about when you get to where you understand color, you understand what colors happen when you mix different things, you can switch from medium to medium. Because this is the same color I would do if I were oil painting, or, you know, that I mix the reddish color and the purple color. And when I do the actual tutorial, like the bigger project, I will put a, keep a camera on the pastel so you can see what I'm mixing and how I'm doing that. Caution artists at places, inquiring minds want to know, what did the burp taste like? You kidding? No, I'm going to tell you now. He said rosé. We had rosé last night. It was really good. But we had a glass of that, and he said he thinks that's what his burp today tastes like, which is weird, because, ew, didn't need to know. And since I didn't need to know, I'm going to share with you guys. You guys have to suffer through this with me. It's Val's anniversary of being online, too. Wow, Val, you're celebrating everything. You guys, if you want to check out our moderators' channels, both Val and Joseph Fincham, they're linked below in the video description. They've got great art channels, so you definitely want to check those out. Thanks, Ursies. Alright, just scroll too far again. I wish that YouTube, like, they have so many great features. I wish they would fix it so that the scrolling, like, I could keep it placed so I could keep up with the actual questions and not skip any. I apologize if I skip over your guys' questions. I just keep jumping. Like it just did. Oh well. Well, we'll just start from here. Your idea for painting instead of napping, that was me at 5 a.m. Yeah, I haven't done that in a while, so I was kind of excited about the new idea for a painting, but I am not excited about being this tired. This is weird, like it keeps scrolling really and skipping big chunks of questions, and I can't get back to where it was. Paul said you can get different tints, tones, and values of a color by mixing, but you cannot say add blue to yellow and get green. Oh, interesting. Luckily, they gave me 3 different greens in this set. I'll show you. I've got a well, I guess 4 if you count the yellow green. I've got a good set of greens there. I'm pretty happy with that. That is interesting. Okay, let's see. Did they send you the blending medium pan? No, I don't think so. But now I'm curious. What part of Texas am I from? I am in Grapevine. Why questions? Why this chat is driving me crazy? I'll get to it and it just flies up again. Every time I get near it, it's being really weird jumping around. I'm having a hard time finding these. Is Pan Pastel the same as pastel chalk or it? I don't know what they're made of. I don't know the details of like the chemical formulation or any of that. The look is pretty much the same. It blends a little different. Like these feel a little bit softer. 1911, let's say, caution artist that plays it says at least now we know rosé lingers. I didn't know it lingered. I didn't experience it myself. I think he's just weird. 1911 said, do you have any more plein air adventures planned for the near future? Not in this heat. And I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes really, really bad. Like, it's a real problem for me right now. So, I keep getting bit, and then my foot, if they bite me on my foot swells up, like, bad. And it's unpleasant. So I've kind of been avoiding outside. I ordered some kind of natural spray that people swore by that you can spray on yourself to keep them away. I'll give that a try. I'm not sure when that'll be here. But yeah, I'm like going outside right now and me are not like a happy, it's not a happy relationship. Which sucks because I love to sit, I've got a patio outside my studio and I love sitting out there, but I'm just getting eaten. And I've got all kinds of stuff out there that's supposed to repel mosquitoes. None of it's working. Like the lotion that I normally wore that repels mosquitoes, that's not working. Nothing is working. Driving me crazy. It makes me sad because I really want to go sit outside. but it's really, like, this summer kind of sucks. It's been hotter than usual for the time of year. Actually, well, this time of year it's hot, but we got hot back in May. So I haven't really been able to go outside and not die of the heat. These blend together. I am so curious now with you saying you can't blend blue and yellow together and get green. I want to see what happens. I'm just, let's see, where's my paper? I'll try it on this. No. Do I have scratch paper somewhere? 1 second. I need to try this. Also, I can't take it anymore. I need to go turn the air down. I'll be right back. Well, let's just drop that a couple degrees. Okay. Let's see what happens, just out of morbid curiosity, when I mix yellow and blue together. I should get something, let's just do a different blender. I don't want to mess these up. Where did my, there they are. It's not that I don't believe you, I'm just so curious what happens. What does that actually look like? So we'll get a little bit of yellow, a bit of blue. What are you talking about? That's totally green. I just mixed blue and yellow. You are wrong, sir. You can mix in a different color. At least with these. Like, so that stumped me because I know with pastels you can have that happen. But yeah, that's definitely green. Did I read your... I may have read what you said wrong, but that definitely blended. I'll have to check. I bet I just read what you said wrong. How are you cleaning your applicator things after using a color? Right now, I'm using different applicators for different colors, but I've got a paper towel underneath me, and I can wipe that off to lighten some of it up to an extent. But if I were going to go from like blue to yellow, I'm going to change the spongy thing on it altogether, because they will bleed together. Okay, as I said, you can blend the colors to get different ones. I don't have any greens. I use blue and yellow to get green. I bet I read that wrong about not blending them. Or not. DJ said my cockatiel laid an egg for you today. Gee, thanks. Luckily, chicken won't lay any eggs. I used to have some female cockatiels and they did. Some questions here. Have I tried Skin So Soft for the mosquitoes? No, because I've always used the mango body butter from the Body Shop. That one repels, well, it used to repel mosquitoes, and I know they got bought out by like L'Oreal or something. I don't know if they changed the formula because it doesn't smell like it smells as strong as it used to. I thought I just got used to it because I've been using it for so many years, but I'm wondering now if they actually changed the formula, or if, because it used to work really well, or if these are like a different type of mosquito that just don't care about lotions, but I've not tried that. I'll have to. Max said, you said that your husband is an artist too. It'll be interesting to see both of you on a live stream working together in a project. Yeah, if I can get him to do it. We've had some ideas that I wanted to do with him, like having him follow one of my tutorials or do it in his style, or like all of those, but we'll see if he actually ever does it. Robin said, I believe there's no binder in Pan Pastel, so that would be a difference there. Where did that scroll? Sarah said, caution, artists at Plein and I are copying you now, including pics of our finished works throughout the videos. That's cool. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Let's get some work done, because I am being slow. Keep up with my mixing a bit of my red and my purple together. There will be yellow down here, so I'm getting this purpley tone. Now, when you're doing clouds and something like this where I'm going to have a lot of colors, you may think, okay, dark clouds, it's kind of gray, jump to black. Avoid that when you can. Now, you guys know, I love using black. The problem is if you use black in the wrong area, like here, I'm going to have yellow. I mix black in with that, and I'm going to get a weird green, and it is not going to be very cute. So I'm much better off going with the purples. I don't recommend jumping to black just because something's darker. There are times where you want that color, but don't think that it's like your go-to every time, because quite often it's not the best choice. Oh, that's too purple. Let's get some of this in here. I'm just blending the colors right on the pans. I don't know that that's the best way to go, but, you know, we'll see. Definitely do not have enough on my pet brush right now. There we go. And then I'll put some white on top. But like here gets really dark. I may pull in a couple spots where it's really, really dark. I might pull a touch of black at the very end, but I'm going to try to avoid it if I can. Plus, if I can avoid it, my colors are actually going to be richer and look darker if I can get it with color versus just with black in that case. But here, yeah, I'll probably end up adding a little bit of black to darken that up. But I'm not going to do it till I'm closer to the end because I don't want it to smudge in with the colors around it. Rachel said, do these give you a scratching sound against the paper like regular pastels can? Not even close. I mean, there's a little bit, but not, I mean, almost nothing. Like, you can kind of hear it. See, I don't know if you can hear. Here, let's move the mic next to it. Can you hear? So it's a little bit, but not like the pastel pencils do at all. Especially if it's dry. When I have more of the pigment on the brush, I keep saying brush, I don't know what we want to call these, sponge, it doesn't make as much noise. But as it starts to get dry and rubs against the paper, it's more. And I would assume that with a higher grit, so like, or something that's like an 800 or even the 1200, something that's smoother, you're probably not going to hear it as much if that's something that bothers you. And if you are someone, because I've heard this complaint before, and I don't know if this is why you're asking, but I have heard people ask before where they didn't like using certain colored pencils because it made a scratchy sound. Put headphones in. That's, I mean, I didn't even know some of the pencils I used made noise for years. People were complaining about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I listen to headphones all the time. So when I took them out and did, I'm like, oh, you're right, it does. I never would have noticed it had, because of the headphones. So if that's ever something that's a problem for you, it's a pretty easy solution. These are, I'm finding this to be just as easy to mix colors as oil painting. And doing this with this. And again, still, my hands are totally clean, so I'm liking it. I didn't want to, but I think I am. I'm going to switch to, let's just grab this guy. This is nice, kind of a neat little guy. Kale, I'm using 20 colors. Well, I don't know how many colors I'm actually using. There's 20 in my set. Like I said, when I do the actual tutorial, now that I see how I'm blending, because I didn't know I was going to blend in the pan, now that I see that I'm doing that, I'm going to make sure that I've got a camera on that in the future. But right now, sorry. So we're going to get a bright area. Ooh, that is way too yellow. That's okay. We'll just block it in. So like I said earlier, what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of making a mess with blocking in approximately where stuff goes. Oh, that's a much better color. And then I'll tighten things up and clean up my edges and all of that once I get a bit further in. Jesse said a little off topic, but where do you buy your Liquitex basics? Either usually Hobby Lobby, or normally lately I just get it when I place an order on Dick Blick or Jerry's. If I'm ordering something else, I usually throw in a few paints. But I used to just get them at Hobby Lobby, and then you can use a 40% coupon if you're only getting one item. So when I used to go there, I'd go like once a week and get a new tube of paint, whether it be oil or acrylic, and use that coupon. Have I tried gouache? Yes. Will I? Well, I don't know that I'll start with the videos because gouache isn't my favorite. It's okay, just not my thing. Although I guess I thought the same with colored pencil or watercolor pencil, so there's that. Esme said you can use OMS 91% alcohol or water to blend the pans, but the light fastness be affected. I spoke to the creators about it. Interesting. Although I don't know why I would want, like, I can't see a reason that I would need to, because these, I mean, the blending, that's kind of the joy of pastels is how well they blend. So, and not needing to use any of those things to blend. So here, like if you can see, this isn't a high contrast between this area and the blue above it. So that kind of tells me if the white isn't white enough, but it's still white, go ahead and add, like I'll add a darker blue right next to it, and that'll make the white appear brighter. Nick said, I've used the soft tools to blend with powder blender. How do you like them? How do you like using them to put down color with? I'm liking them a lot. Like, they are working to me very similar to what I would get with a paintbrush. I don't feel uncomfortable at all with that. I thought that it might be weird. I'm really liking how they work. And part of it might be that I've used them for so many projects now with powder blender. It seems easy to me because, I mean, you and I using them with that, we're used to using them. So it's very, very similar. Sarah said, since the last live stream, I've been thinking a lot about my prices. I kept the same prices, 75 cents per square inch, since I started selling. Yeah, raise your prices if they're selling. If they're not selling, don't raise your prices. I mean, I actually would have to figure out what you're actually selling the prices at. So I off the top of my head, I can't do the math because I'm terrible at math. I don't know if that's good or bad. But, well, it's not good that I can't do math. But, I mean, I don't know if your prices are good or bad. But if they're selling, like if you're selling at a certain price and they are selling, that's when you want to raise your prices. If you're selling at a certain price and they're not selling at that price, don't raise your price. I mean, unless they're super, like, if you're selling them for like $10 a piece, obviously raise your price, then you're not charging enough. But don't, make sure when you raise prices, raise them when the demand is there, is ideally what you want to do, so that you don't end up having to drop your prices if they don't sell. Like, I mean, if they're not selling at one price, raising it probably isn't going to fix that. So always kind of start on the low end when you're pricing your work and slowly raise it. Like, figure out about what other artists selling the same type of work as you in your area, or if you're selling online, whatever, are going for, and base yours off that. It gives you an idea of kind of where to start, where to price things, and slowly raise it over time as the demand rises. This is really fun to work in. Like, oh, I didn't want to like these. I didn't want to like a new medium too, because I already work in so many. And it's always that, okay, trying to figure out not only what project I want to work in every week, but what medium. And now I've just added one more that I'm actually really enjoying, and I was hoping not to. Let's see. I need to start going through here quickly, or I'm never going to finish this by the end of the stream. I'm just having so much fun playing with this and getting a general feel. I'm glad that I'm used to using these with powder blender, because I don't feel like I'm using a tool I've never used before, which is nice. I just want to get some of this color on here. I'm just going to wipe that off and see. Now here's going to be a test for me. I want to see when I wipe this off, when I switch to a yellow color, how much is that going to blend in, or do I really need to switch? Well, that's not too bad. So just wiping it off on the paper towel really did work and kept it clean enough to get that yellow ochre. Um, 3D Art said, so wax-based and oil-based pencils can go on top of pastels? Absolutely. And that's kind of my plan, that when I do the bigger project, what I'll probably do is do a mixed media and include those, since I don't like pastel pencils. Any detail that I want to do, if I want to sharpen stuff up, I'll switch over to my colored pencils. Now see how I'm smudging these together? If I would have used black for these dark areas, this would look horrible where I'm blending and getting this color. But because the yellow and the purple work well together, I just get a really nice, soft, muted tone. So this is where I was talking about before, where it's like once you understand certain concepts with art, what colors will blend into what things, you can switch mediums and it's going to apply across the board. You're not going to feel like you're completely starting from scratch. Like this will not be my best piece ever, obviously. But, I mean, it also doesn't look like I painted it with my feet. Okay, right now it kind of does. But it won't when I'm done. This actually should switch into some blue, so let's pull that down. You could definitely easily create mud if you're not careful with what colors you're using. So I think, you know, just be aware of that. Having a test piece of paper would be handy if you're not sure what colors will work together. Yeah, definitely they have a really nice opacity to them. Dixie said, what if you put two colors of pastel onto the same sponge and form a gradient? That's actually what kind of what I'm doing. I'm mixing my two colors on the pan. Like this one is blue and white mixed together. And I'm going to end up letting that mix a little bit with the yellow once I get the yellow in there. But yeah, I mean, these definitely seem like I feel pretty unlimited on what I could do it with this right now. It really is a lot like oil painting. I mean, minus the fact that obviously I'm not going to get super fine detail with these brushes, but I can switch over to colored pencil if I need to. And if I use colored pencil on top of these, I'm going to use my oil-based pencils. I'm going to go with my polychromos. Polychromos work far better on sanded paper blending, and I'm not going to use powder blender. I would just blend right on top of this for like sharper edges and stuff. But the oil-based pencils work much, much better on sanded paper than wax-based pencils. Wax-based pencils just stick too much, and they don't really give you the look, that soft look that the oil-based can. So my Derwent Pro Color should also work for that. And I will have a review of the Derwent Lightfast pencils coming soon. Mine just came. It takes a very long time to get things sent from the UK to the US or back and forth. So mine actually just came last week. So I will be reviewing those soon. Man, if you say this is better on UArt 800, I'm really interested because I'm liking it on this. Okay, something smudged. I'm going to try my finger. Let's see how much it freaks me out. It almost feels oilier than pastels. It's not as dry feeling. I don't hate that. Like, I'm not having a full-on meltdown right now. I might be okay with this. Oh, I didn't want to like a new medium. But it really is nice. I'm really glad they contacted me because I don't think I would have like made the effort to buy them because I was determined I wouldn't like them. Because I didn't want, I guess, to like them. Oh, but this is very, very fun. It's fun too because look how much, I mean, so quickly this went down. And for me, like when I switch mediums, because I've had people ask that, well, are you not going to use colored pencil anymore? Well, no, I'm not going to stop using one to use another. I like using all the different mediums that I use. Depends on what mood I'm in. Diane said, I just bought the coal whatever, I can't even say that. 48 soft pastel pencils from Amazon. They're amazing. Check them out. Oh, stop making me buy more pastels, guys. I don't want to like them. You're not helping. Nick said, would you describe the pan pastels as being more creamy rather than chalky? Yes, I think that would be a good way to word that. They're like normally if I get pastel on my finger, I would right now be wanting to wash this off and put cream back up, like lotion back on my hands. And it doesn't feel yucky to me. It feels okay. This is sticking to this paper really nicely. Like I haven't felt like I needed to use a texture fixative or a workable fixative yet. I mean, you will hit a point where it's just kind of falling off the page and you do need to seal it down, but some artists just do the whole piece with no fixative and just spray it at the end. So it's not necessarily that there's a right or wrong way. You've got to figure out what works best for you. This is really, like, I'm having a hard time controlling myself so that I don't sit here and grin like an idiot, to where I look kind of like that creepy grin, like, this is so fun. But it really is fun. I'm excited. Let's see. Dixie Art said, could you possibly use a mop brush to blend these out? Just wondering. Chances are, so let's go ahead and grab just a paintbrush in general. I'm not going to grab a mop brush. But what usually happens with something like that is let's get a little one. You end up knocking a lot of product off. Sometimes it'll blend and sometimes, let's see with this one. It softens it, but I'm also lightening it. I'm removing some of that pigment from the paper. So it does work. I wouldn't say it's something I would never do. It would depend on the look that you're trying to get. But I know with regular pastels, a lot of times when I've done that, it'll end up knocking, this one's actually not bad. This is sticking to the paper really well. Like I can see the dust flying up, so it is knocking some off, but it's not as bad. It's softening it really, really nicely. More so than I would have thought. More so than what I've experienced before with using regular pastels, like pastel pencils. This stuff, like, that kind of goes back to what Nick was saying. Are they more like a creamy base or chalky base? Being that they almost feel creamy to me, they stick better. They're not, and there is fallout. Not much. Like, I was surprised. I thought it would be way messier than what it is. Yeah, that's giving me a really nice, I'm not losing a lot of pigment in doing this. I'm glad you asked. I expected it to be a bit more. And this one is the Royal Soft Grip. It's a number, what number is this? I'm probably going to keep this to the side and just use that for these because this is actually giving me like nice results. It's not as, some mop brushes are super, super soft. This one's a little bit more stiff. It's the kind that I use for oil painting. I use a softer one for acrylic painting, but for oils I use these because they're a little bit more stiff, and this is really pretty. So I'm going to add this to my set. These are really inexpensive brushes too. Interesting. Like, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there is some of the dust. I think that this is making it a little messier. It's making more fall out, like it's kind of flying in the air. Probably not super healthy to breathe in. It's not like crazy, but it's softening it really, not like nicer than what I was getting with some of the brushes. Like, it gives me a much softer look. So, thanks for that. Let's see. This is fun experimenting with this with you guys. It really is. Let's see if I can start better defining some of these clouds now and getting that contrast up. Actually, I need a little bit more of the dark blue first. So I'm going to wipe some of that purple off the brush and just jump into the blue. In order to make this look how it's supposed to, this is going to need to be a lot darker. Okay, let's go ahead. Well, I'm going to go back to this handy mop brush now that you mentioned that. I'm like that the results that gave me. Like, when I've used this before on pastels, I felt that I was really knocking way too much of the product off the paper, and it's not. It's sticking better here. Like, so it's knocking some off, but not a ton. Clarice, my reference photo came from Pixabay. I'm not copying it exactly, so you probably wouldn't even recognize it. Mighty Evil One said, so are you not getting that residual powder like in charcoal or pastels? Not nearly as bad as, like, not at all as bad. There's some, but not a lot. Like I put a white paper under here or a white paper towel so I could see how much fell off. Like some is falling off, but like way less than I was expecting. Yeah, Paul said, wait till you use them to do a background for your colored pencil, Nirvana. Yeah, I am definitely going to be doing that. And I think that's the main video that I do, like, a sample of. That's probably what's going to end up happening. Let's see. Jacqueline said, sometime can you write which are the pencils you use and which use with wet blender? I get confused between Prismacolor and Polychromos. Wait, what? I'm not sure what you're asking. It might be my lack of a nap. I apologize. I mean, it's not, the blender I use isn't necessarily like powder blender doesn't work well with any oil-based or any wax-based pencil. So my Luminance, Polychromo, or God, I can't talk again, tired. Luminance, Prismacolor. Why was that word so hard to remember right now? Those aren't ideal for a powder blender. Odorless mineral spirits work with everything. Powder blender works best with an oil-based pencil. So I guess that would be the short version of that, if that's what you're asking. Gail said, please add this mop brush to the links later. I will. I'll do that. Actually, if you go to my website under the oil painting supplies, I think it's there. Clary said, you plan to use colored pencils for details. I don't know if I'm going to use them on this. I'm going to try without, but it's kind of my backup plan for edges if I need to sharpen them. Ursi said, just use the definition when trying different technique to create a result and success method to getting a look you desire. I have no idea what I just read. I think my lack of nap is killing me. Yeah, Clarence said, I see you're already addicted to pan pastels. Yes, I think so. I do think this is something you'll see me do in videos much more often now. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the... this one's dirty. I'm actually going to give this guy a new hat. Oh, actually, I could just flip it over. Use the back of it. I want to get some high... no, I'm going to do new because I need to get yellows and whites. Just in case. Rachel says Pan Pastels also offers metallic and pearlescent shades, as well as colorless blender medium and coarse and fine pearl mediums. I don't want to know that. I don't want to be, like, more addicted than I am. You guys are a bad influence on me. Seriously. Go all the way on there. Okay. So I need to start getting some of these really bold, bright yellows. I'm going to mix some white right now. I think, yeah, that color should work. Dixie Art said, what was there once supposed to be a collab between you and Lena Dania, or am I imagining things? Yeah, we've talked about it. We just never got around to coming up with anything. We've chatted about doing it a few times, but that's about as far as we got. So I'm sure eventually we will. I just don't know when. Okay, you can actually get decent detail, like edges, with just using this. So those of you, like, have any of you done just a painting only with pan pastels and no other pastels or pencils or anything? If you did, what did you use for your really sharp edges? This is actually working okay. But I feel more like I'm painting with a palette knife where it's not like super, super sharp. I don't even know if it's possible with these to get that sharp. Gail said, I'm a bad influence on her when it comes to wanting new supplies. Rose said, hi Lisa, what type of paper would work best for pan pastels? Can I find it on Amazon? I'm using UArt 500. Paul mentioned he liked UArt 800, and Pastel Matte was another suggestion. I've only tried this one now. Dennis said, when adding the colored pencil touch-up texture on regular drawing paper, does one have to use the fixatives? Like when you're mixing it with the white, or what do you mean? Like, why would you... Pencil touch-up texture. What are you adding the touch-up texture for? I mean, I use it when I mix it on regular paper. It's always when I'm mixing with white, or with the white. And no, you would not need a fixative on that. Dixie Art said, I've been wondering this for so long. Is your hair naturally brown or blonde, or is it some other color? It's blonde. It's ash blonde, I guess is what they call it now. I call it a dirty blonde. But my natural color is the darker blonde. This is my roots. Like this much of my hair back here, that's the natural color. I'm letting the natural grow out. Look how pretty and soft. Oh, it makes me happy. Let's see. Valerie said she just uses the very edge for sharp details. The very edge of this, the pointy soft one I'm using. Oh, okay, and Jessica says the tool you're using now is possible. As May said, I've only tried once, but I used Q-tips and small brushes with alcohol for fine detail. Oh, okay, now that I could see where alcohol would be beneficial for getting like, you just made sense to me on why one would use alcohol. Ooh, I don't want that yellow there. Go away. It'll just blend you out. Okay, this should just be lots of white. Have I mentioned that I'm having a lot of fun? Because, yay. Let's see. Christine asked what type of music I listen to. Any favorite musicians? Amberlin is my absolute favorite band in the world. I can listen to they've got lots of CDs, but I can listen to them nonstop for like ever. Love Amberlin. Hugely addicted to that. Lately, I've been really addicted to the Plot in You. Not child friendly, by the way. So if you have kids, I probably would not play that in front of them. Amberlin's very family friendly. Thomas Goodlunas, which is, it's violin. It's violin and piano. I listen to that one a lot. I was just talking to my husband about that. I've been listening to that CD for 30 years. Shadow of the Sun is the CD by Thomas Goodlunas. That's my favorite. So amazing. But that's actually how I learned to play by ear. I listened to it for so long that I started like trying to copy it on my violin. Those are the only ones that are like coming to the top of my head. I like, gosh, I have a folk station that I listen to on Pandora a lot, but I don't even know that the music it's coming up with would actually be considered folk. I like it. I just don't know like if that's what it's considered. It seems a little less folky than what I would consider folk to be. Let's see. Nick said, all the 100% pan pastel pieces I've ever seen are usually large format in order to get the detail. I think, that makes sense. I was thinking when I do mine, I'm going to do a 16 by 20 so that I can get, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, Nick. Jessica said, use a pointy one, drag it on its side edge. Amara said, thank you so much for your tip. My crochet portraits are a lot better now. My drawing skills are improved. This lady is an angel. Thanks again. That's awesome. Sarah McStart said, have you ever had clients or buyers who found you through your YouTube channel? If not, yes, I have. If not, what social media channels did they find you through? YouTube and Facebook were the main two. Mara, oh, there we go. Mara Black said, my hair is naturally blonde and I colored it chestnut brown, and when the colors came out, I was called Madame Le Pew. What? Ursi said, using a blending tortilla on whatever that I can never say that word of, and shape it, it requires some work to achieve the technique you're looking for, but your elegance. Oh, that would, I can see where that would work. I have some that I haven't used yet. I'm going to try that. Thanks. Man, you guys are giving me the best tips tonight. How do you spell Anberlin? It's A-N-B-E-R-L-I-N. And they're amazing. Like, seriously, it just makes me happy to listen to him all, well, I say him, it's them, it's a band, but I love that guy's voice. The whole band is amazing. Ever watching or listen to the Piano Guys? I have. They are amazing. Rachel says, I feel like every time I watch Lachri fine art, I feel like I should just have a Dick Flick representative next to me so I could just hand them my credit card. Here, take my money. Yeah, that's, trust me, I understand. I do the same thing too, or plant channels. If I watch channels where they're like, this is the fertilizer I use, or this is whatever I do the same thing as you guys are doing with art. Like, yeah. But I do the same thing with art too, or someone's like, here, use this pencil sharpener, use whatever. Must go by now. And this would make for some really pretty underwater scenes too. Like, it just blends so perfectly. Maybe that's what my project should be, my big one with these. That may happen. Am I a fan of the group Black Violin? I don't know who they are. Eric Draw says, sounds like Nickelback back. You take that back, sir. You and I cannot be friends if you do not take that back. Amberlin sounds nothing. Nothing. Because they're good. Amberlin's good. Let's see. Assuming you were talking to me on that. See, I read part of the conversation, and what you guys are talking about is nothing to do with what I read, which might be the case. Rick's Artwork said, for sharp edges, you can use a piece of paper like a stencil's. Oh, that's a good idea. Lay it down and go over the edge. Oh my gosh, you guys are giving me the best tips tonight. This is so fun. Amara said, I love K-pop music. It has a great message and great beats. I love letting it play as I work. I like watching, my husband watches, what is he, wrestling or some show. But on the commercials, sometimes they have K-pop, and I have to go watch. I don't know, it fascinates me. I mean, it's not what I would listen to, but the videos, and I don't know, it just fascinates me. Ooh. That is pretty how that is blending up into the cloud above it. Dixie Art said, I just listened to Amberlin. Well, let's add another band to my favorites. Yay! I'm glad to share the addiction. I've been listening to them for years, and I will like if I'm in the mood, well, lately it's been the Plotting You, but normally Amberlin, like if I ever want to listen to music with actual singing, because I listen to a lot of like instrumental stuff, but if I want to listen to music, I almost always would put them on. Now I want to listen to them. I would now, but, you know, copyright issues and all that stuff, so I can't listen to something that you guys can hear right now. But now I'm probably going to listen to them tonight. Ooh, Gail Perkins says, Enya is my favorite well artist. I love Enya. Love. So I am definitely with you on that. So when I start a new medium, and I seriously recommend you guys do this too, is give yourself, like right now, I don't really care if this comes out good. It makes no difference to me if this is good. My goal is to experiment, see what happens when I do different things, and to have fun with it. When I'm starting something new, I always give myself permission to make the ugliest thing and not even care. Like, it does not matter right now. What I want to do is get a feel for what happens when I blend like this. Oh, I don't actually like what I just did there. Okay, how do I fix it? Like this is what goes through my mind when starting a new project. Don't get so worked up when you start something new that everything has to be perfect, because you don't enjoy the process and you don't learn as much. I'm going to learn way more today by making some ugly mistakes than I would by everything being perfect all the way through. I want to make those mistakes now. I want to get a feel for what happens when I blend certain ways now before I start a project that I'm more serious about. So don't, and I recommend this no matter what medium you're doing. When you first start out, give yourself permission to make an ugly, ugly mess and just have fun making that ugly mess. Okay, let's see. I need to get some more darks in here now. Now I can really see where certain areas need to have way more color saturation as I start adding the white highlights. Ooh, that came out pretty. I'm just so happy about how these colors blend and mix together because I wasn't sure how well they would. And this set of 20 is just, like, it really does. Like, I can't think of many more colors I would need in addition. I mean, I'm sure I would. I always like more colors, but I also like when you don't have to run out and buy 100 colors in order to work with things. Like when I got my markers, my Winsor & Newton pigment markers, I ended up getting like 100 colors. I went out and did a lot of shopping because with those, you can blend a lot with a little, but it's not quite as much as what I'm seeing here. Let's try blending with our little mop brush guy again in here. I'm so impressed with how well it sticks to the paper. Like, it's not what I've experienced with pastels before, where it just kind of goes, it doesn't stick that well. This is, and it may be because to be honest, I've not done pastels on sanded paper before. I used to do it on like the Canson Me 10s, that type of paper. So it may be in part the paper too. Yay, pretty and soft. I'm going to start pulling some brighter yellow, really get this glow in here. Dixie Art said, "How do you did you think of the name Lachri? I know you used your sister's name, but how did you come up with the combination?" My mom actually did. My mom used to breed Himalayan cats, Basset Hounds, and Shih Tzus. And she worked with show breeders, so they were like, you know, they did a lot of health testing, so she wasn't a backyard breeder. But they, this was back in the 80s. So she's the one who came up with that name, because you have like a breeder name or a kennel name type thing. And that's what she came up with. And she doesn't breed anymore. She didn't do it for that long. Like, she worked with breeders. It wasn't like she was on her own doing it. But she didn't keep with it. So I took it over. Ooh, that blends nice. These are, like, I just feel like it's an easy medium to use. Like, I feel almost like I'm cheating because it's so easy to get this amazing blending that would struggle. And then the other thing, like, unlike working with oil pastels, if I were to do, or not oil pastels, oil painting, because I said, you know, how it blends a lot like oils. If you work with oils, you've got that dry time that you're just not going to have here. I need to pull some of this dark way down here. If I want that light area to seem lighter, I want to make it darker right next to it. And now that area suddenly looks way darker. A few little poofy clouds in there. Okay, more yellow. Maybe that's not the right yellow. Go with the yellowy orange color. And let that blend together. Yeah, that's much better. Actually, that's a good combination with those two. Blue said, speaking of music, if you ever have time, could you post a violin video? I rewatch those videos all the time. Yeah, actually, I want to do, my friend Christian, who was the singer-songwriter of the band that I was in back when last time I was in a band. He and I want to do some projects. So I do have plans for stuff coming up. I just have to actually do them. As he said, it's really easy to get truly good results with pastels that are good. Yeah, I definitely see that. But I mean, pastels have always, I was never like unhappy with the results I got with the pastels. It's just that the dirtiness and my hands being dirty bugged me. But I'm not, like, even where I got it on my hands tonight, it doesn't feel gross to me like pastels normally do. Yeah, I'm getting better at making thin lines with this. This is getting easier. This I just need to lighten up here. That white shows up so nicely. Christine said it was a long time ago, but I remember I read about your story. You've gotten so far. Thank you. I know. I still am amazed myself. Every once in a while, I sit back and I'm like, how did I get here? Like, it's just crazy to me from where I started. I get excited. So now I don't like how, like, this is just a straight line going through. I need to break that up, make it so it's not so even. I look like I've got even lines going through now. So let's start poofing some of this up, make some of these thicker. I'm just having fun kind of practicing with the little details in this brush, but I'm almost doing too many. Let's poof these. 1SG said, what is the difference between pan pastels, pastel pencils, and pastel sticks? Well, for me, the shortest version, pastel pencils, I'm able to get finer detail with, like teeny tiny lines because it's a pencil. But the pastel pencils and the pastel sticks to me were very chalky, very messy, and that's where I was just like, nope, that is not a fit for me. They make beautiful work. They're just messier than what I like, and I don't like the feel on my hands. These I'm able to paint, I'm painting with them basically, and they're not getting on my hands, and when they did get on my hands, they don't feel yucky and chalky. They feel like creamier, they're sticking to the paper better than what I saw with the pastel pencils that I had used before. Now again, those pastel pencils I was using on like Hanson Me 10s. I did not try it on this, and that could definitely be a difference. I'll have to test out, because I do have some pastels here that came in my Smart Art box. I can test those on one of these papers to see what the difference would be. Chris says, you certainly have accomplished a lot in a short time with this medium. I can't wait to try it. Yeah, that's one of the things I've always loved with pastels. You can get really far pretty quickly. And this is with me stopping and talking. I mean, if I was paying attention, this would be, you know, 20 minutes in, I could probably get to this stage. So that's definitely, like, if you find yourself not liking slow mediums, or you want something that's faster, this could definitely be a good choice for you. JPC13 Art says, I think we have finally gotten our revenge after all these supplies that you made us buy. Yeah. Probably should have just listened to you guys, though, because you guys have been telling me pan pastels that you thought I'd like them forever, and I just keep going, nope, I don't want to try a new medium, I don't want to anything, and I'm being difficult, and you were right. It really is very much like painting with a palette knife. Only with one of the reasons that I don't paint, like I like the look of palette knife paintings, but you use so much freaking paint. I feel like I'm like wasting, like I'm using so much. It's too expensive, so I don't do it often, and I don't feel that way with this. So I'm kind of getting the fun of a palette knife without wasting tons of product. I actually want another pointy one out. Hold on. Ooh, the edge. Let's use. I'm just throwing crap on the floor now. Where is the one? There's another one. Oh, I think it's in here. I can reach it. Let's see. Chloe says use pastel mat. It doesn't give any dust off. I'll have to try. I'll definitely be trying that. This is way less than I expected. Like this is hardly any too, which is kind of crazy to me. I'm gonna have to try a few papers. Dixie said, I remember the first video of yours that I watched. It was colored pencil portrait, and that was before I knew artists used colored pencils so professionally. Thanks. You know what's funny? So years and years ago, I had a customer come to me, and they wanted a portrait done, and they said it was colored pencil. And when I looked at it, I'm like, you can't do that in pastel. And I'm, to this day, I wish I could see what it originally was, because I remember looking at it going, no, that's pastels. That's not colored pencil. And I wonder now, looking back, if it really was, because now I can make colored pencil look like that, but back then I didn't know it could be done. I mean, this was a long time ago, and I ended up doing I did it in pastels for them, and they were happy. But it was like the dad had that portrait done, and they wanted another one of the son in the same, or they wanted it like the same style to look the same. So they were happy. There's a June bug or some, no, that's bigger than a June bug. Something is flopping around on my balcony making all kinds of noise. But I didn't even realize that you could do that kind of work and have things blended that softly with colored pencil. And looking back, I really wish I could go back and look at the original artwork that they showed me. I didn't even know if I have photos of my artwork that I did. It was so long ago. Jack said, a while back I was searching for Prisma versus Faber-Castell. The addiction set in. I watched everything Lisa's made, and I have learned much. Yeah, it's so funny, that video I did, the comparing Faber-Castell and Polychromos. I didn't realize that was something that many people would be interested in. It was just something, you know, I bought the Faber-Castell and I wanted to do a comparison to show people the difference. And what's really funny to me is the anger from the people who like Prismacolor hated that. Like the response of some of them, I've deleted a lot of the really nasty comments, but they accused me of, oh, I'm just paid by Faber-Castell. Like, I've never worked directly with Faber-Castell. I've never done anything with them. That video, I bought the supplies. I wanted to see which ones I like better, and I shared why I ended up liking the Faber-Castell better. And people were like angry, claiming I was being paid. And if I'm paid, I tell you guys when it's a sponsored video. Like, this was provided to me by Pan Pastels. I'm pretty upfront about that stuff, because that's this, like, well, not only is it not, or it's illegal not to tell people, but it's also shady not to tell people if you're working with a company on something, or you got the supplies provided to you. But the people that would say that it was just a paid video by Faber-Castell and like made up all this crap lying about me because of that video, it was just kind of funny. The really bad ones I just delete, because I don't care what those people think. But it was just funny how many were like, I didn't expect to have that many people angry that I didn't like Prismacolor as much as I liked Faber-Castell. Like, wow, that's like taking fangirl or fanboy level up a bit too high. Jody said Pastel Mat is also multimedia surface. Bonus points. I have it in white, but I haven't used it yet. Sarah Makes Art said, I recently watched your video where you show the silver play button, and I was wondering if you've seen any good play button unbox videos from other creators, or if you watch them. I don't watch them. I don't actually watch a lot of YouTube. Like, I watch some gardening channels, but I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff. And like the YouTube suggest thing, they'll suggest videos for me. It's never anything I'm interested in. So, yeah, that I don't spend a lot of time on honestly watching. I probably should, because I could probably get some great ideas from other artists how they do stuff, but or different idea like how they edit their videos or whatever. I just don't. Oops, actually I want that shadow down here, not up there. Pay attention. Go away, shadow of wrong. Let's see. Oh, look, there. That erases. I call you the shadow of Lisa's not paying attention. Actually, that kind of worked pretty good. See what I mean? Like, don't even worry about making mistakes, because I just figured, hey, or realized this worked really well for blending what I needed there when I was trying to rub off the other area. Mistakes are not a bad thing when you're learning something or trying different things. So I want to try making rays of light come through here. Maybe I'll wait a little. Maybe. Okay, let's get some more details first. And I don't know if it's going to work the way I want it to. That's why this will be a very big experimenting thing when I try putting rays of light coming through. I mean, it looks cool in the reference photo, but I have not tried that with Pan Pastels, so this will be interesting. Yeah, okay. Which brush should I use? We'll use the one in my hand. Let's just wipe the yellow off of it. This may be a mistake. We'll find out. This may be too much. Okay, actually, I just need more. That should be fine. Let's see, Rachel says, use a new medium for the first time and creates a masterpiece. I use a new medium for the first time. My preschooler starts comparing with her artwork, which is honestly better. Oh my gosh, you're funny. I think we always think that something somebody else did is better than what we did. That's normal to feel. Thanks, DJ. Sierra said, I'm the opposite. I watch way too many YouTube videos because I'm studying what they're doing so I can apply it to my own videos. Hey, if you're learning, it's good. Definitely need some, whoops, that's going the wrong direction. So if you do rays of light, make them straight, not like mine are like going every which direction. I've got to fix that. That is one thing I've always liked with pastels. It is pretty easy to fix stuff. Actually, maybe this brush will be better. Normally, if I do like lines that I need to be straight, I'll do it in my lap or work flat. This is not a good angle for me to make straight lines from. Thanks, Gail. Ursi said maybe you need an eraser to get the rays of light. No, I don't like the way the eraser felt on this. I need to work flat, but because of the video where the camera is, I really can't. Like for me, I can do straight lines and I can do them right, but not at this angle. Like this is definitely... That's bent. It's working, kind of. You know, I wonder, too, just for my own curiosity, let's see what happens if I try to do it with a brush. This may be a terrible idea, but I'm not going to know if I don't try it. Too bad I don't have a brush handy. Let's see. What's over there? the brush is too messy. It actually looks good because it's kind of blending as it applies, but it's definitely creating more of a mess of what I would expect with pastels. So yeah, that one's not going to be mine. See what I mean? You've got to try it, because if I don't try it, I don't know what'll happen. So now if I read, like, let's say I go back and I read the tutorials and they're like, oh, this is why this doesn't work well. I'm like, okay, I tried that. I know now, you know, always experiment. Don't be upset about mistakes. Ooh, this color, I didn't realize was on this brush, and it's actually what I needed for some of these clouds in here. Yay for mistakes. Do these pans have an expiration date? Just wondering how much I can supply hoard. I don't know of any art supplies that have an expiration date, honestly. I need some skin colored pencils, and I can't buy single polychromos as far as I know. Why? Dick Blick, buy them there. As far as I know, Prisma and Derwent have a pack, so should I avoid the Prisma ones no matter what? Well, and I would avoid the Derwent ones depending on which ones they were. I would say no matter what. I mean, the Prismacolor are good for, I actually do like them for portraits better in most cases than the, well, that's going the wrong direction, than polychromos. Polychromos I like for the finer details, but for like skin tones, I like a wax-based pencil. But you can buy them individually. Go to dickblick.com or Jerry's Artorama. They are available open stock. But there's no reason you can't use the Prismacolor set. It just, they break a lot. Jack said, try the Tombow Fine Rubber. Oh, I do have that. So, is that over here? I don't know if I have that one out right now. I'll have to try that. I don't have it in my set right now. Bronwyn said about the Faber-Castell versus Prismacolor, I find that artists get very defensive about their preferred supplies. It's not about the brand so much as what you can personally do with it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, Esme said no expiration date. Good. Maybe try a blending stump to create rays of light. Yeah, that might work too. I don't have a clean one over here right now, though. Try a kneaded eraser. Yeah, I don't have one of those out right now either. Your next step is to use Carb Othello pastel pencils and new pastel sticks. Ugh, no. I don't like they feel icky. Christine said Dick Blick is too expensive because overseas. Well, I mean, Faber-Castell is, I think, a German company. You should be able to find them locally at one of your art supply stores over there that are open stock. Valerie said I may want to pick up some silicone colored shapers. I will. I definitely will. I know what you're talking about. RC said blending stuff works fine. I think pretty good. So yeah, I've got lots of stuff. I need to pick up, I think. This is supposed to be super streaky in here. Just get the direction going before I put too many in so I have something to follow. And get rid of these lines. I came at the wrong angle for these ones. Use a sheet of paper to create the fine lines. Yeah, except I don't want them to be that fine. I actually want them to be pretty soft. So I usually, when I do, like even when I airbrush, I don't like using the sheet of paper too much. Like I'll do it for my base layers, but I'll almost always, if you watch me do rays of light, even with the airbrush, I'll go over without the paper individually to soften stuff out because I don't want them to be that, like, sharp. I definitely want that soft pastel look where it's just kind of fuzzy. Which is actually pretty much doing exactly what I wanted it to. I'm not unhappy with this. Okay, I don't know if this is the right step to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to pull some of the black for the darker bits. Actually, I'm just going to be lazy and use one of my blenders from, these little guys are from my powder blender. I just want a little area. Let's see. There are no art stores in my country as far as I know. Oh, that sucks. Okay, you gave me that one. Artistic's creation set. Oh, I just lost my chat. What happened? Go away. Come back, chat. There it goes. I was able to mix the Pan Pastels with Mona Lisa OMS and a fine liner brush to paint lines on. That's good. Like, I can see where that would really work. I'm excited to hear that. DCRs, are you going to finish this piece during live? Yeah, it's pretty much as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to go super crazy far on this. I'm just fussing over little things. This is really as far as I wanted to accomplish. I just wanted to get a basic feel before I started a big project, like a more in-depth one. And then now I can read the manuals, instructions, I don't know. They have some tutorials and stuff that they sent me. I can read those and they're going to make a lot more sense. If I would have read those and then did this, it wouldn't make as much sense as doing it, finding out where I was like, okay, I'm having this problem or this isn't blending the way I want or whatever, and then reading the solution after makes so much more sense if I do it in that order. I got a book. I remember when I was younger, it was a more advanced painting book. And people will often look at tutorials and go, okay, it's too advanced for me. I can't do that. I need something that's easier or more basic. If you want to learn, jump straight into the advanced. Don't stick with stuff for beginners. Stuff for beginners will keep you a beginner forever. I mean, if you want to do one or two beginner pieces, great. But after that, jump into the hard things. Jump into the super advanced things. Yeah, it's not going to be as good as what the teacher is doing, but that's how you're going to get to the point as being as good as the teacher is. If you keep following beginner tutorials because you're like, I'm a beginner, I need beginner stuff, you're never going to not be a beginner. You will forever be, that's as good as it's going to get. So anyway, moving on. There was a book, really advanced, that I had gotten, and it was really, really good. I can't remember the name of the artist. I still have it somewhere. But I remember reading some of this stuff going, oh my gosh, I have no idea what he's talking about. Until years later, I started doing whatever it was and ran into that problem and found the solution. And then when I reread the book, it's like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. And now I know how to fix it because it makes sense to me now that I've experience that. You'll see stuff that's more advanced that you may not understand now, but after continuing to paint for a while, it'll start making more sense to you. But it's why I like to just experiment at first without worrying too much about things being perfect, and then go look up tutorials, then go read books and such. So now I'm coming through with the black just a little bit. I don't want to go too, whoops, that one's a little too crazy. There we go, soften that out. Can I do more product reviews? So I actually get contacted a lot by crappy art materials to do reviews of their products. And they're basically children's art supplies. Like, they're not, I'm very selective about what I want to review. I don't want to turn this into a children's art supply or like crappy art supplies. And I don't want to work with, like, I actually get asked to, I know I'm taking that one statement you asked of do more art reviews, and I'm going to ramble about it for 10 minutes. But I got contacted just this last week for a company who wanted me, they were willing to pay me $200 just to make a post on my Facebook page of something with me drawing with their product. Except I already know their product is crap. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to recommend to you guys something that I know is bad. I'm not even going to bother with it. Because with that, I mean, if they're paying me, they expect me to give a positive review. I'm not going to do that. I would rather not take the $200 and not be obligated to tell you I liked something that I don't. I won't do it. So that's why, I mean, I do get contacted by art suppliers, but it's stuff that I know so often. I already know enough about the product to know it is crap. So I won't, like, that's why you don't see that many reviews. Because I mean, the suppliers will give me the supplies to review, but then, you know, you feel a little obligated to being kind of nice about it. And if I know it's something that's going to be bad, I'm just, no. So I could do more reviews and I could have them supplied for me, but I don't want to, yeah, no. Now, on the flip side, I may end up buying some of those myself. Well, not the children's art supply. There's no, that's not, I'm not a children art, you know, I'm not teaching, I teach kids, but I teach them how to do like more professional stuff, I guess. So it's not something that I do a lot of because so much of what I'm contacted to review are things that are just, I am not going to recommend them to anybody. And it's not worth it to me to make a couple $100 just to post something saying I liked something that I didn't like. But yeah, I mean, I'll do product reviews, but it has to be stuff that I know has a decent name and can produce results that you would want. Like, I don't want to start telling people, yeah, these children's supplies, I'm not going to mention the names, but that, yeah, go buy these. Look at how great they are. Because, I mean, if you give me pencils, I can do something that makes it look decent, but that doesn't mean it's a good supply. It doesn't mean that there's, you know, things for considering the price that are a way better option. So I don't want to, I don't know, it just seems misleading. So it's one of the reasons that I don't do that many reviews, because I really just want to stick with stuff that I know that you guys would like. Dixie said, will you ever do the social media tips and question video again? Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'll probably do it as a live stream. We can plan on doing one of these coming up here, though. Next time that I don't have, we'll just do a normal QA, or maybe, I guess we could focus on social media. But yeah, we should do one of those. It's been a while. Christine said, when was the last time you had to repaint an entire piece because of a mistake or accident? It was 2007, I think. I started over because my base drawing was just a little off. The expression on it was a pet portrait. And the expression on the dog I had just slightly off, and I just wasn't happy. And so I started that one over again. But that was it. Christine said, I would feel bad to say no to a children's art supply shop, except it's not, they're children's, I call them children's art material because they're not for professionals. That's what I'm saying with children. It's not like, look, we do things for kids. That's not what this company does. It's, we produce cheap crap art supplies and we want to get a bunch of YouTubers to promote it. I'm not going to do it. That's really what that comes down to. It's not somebody who's like doing things for the children. That's a totally different situation, and that is not what this company is doing. Okay, I really, at this point, the main thing that I'm doing is just fussing over contrast and such. I mean, it's pretty much done. I don't feel like I need to do a whole lot more on this. I just wanted to get a general feel for working with these before I started a bigger project. But I've got a much better idea of how I will use them now. I'm definitely going to go larger when I do the real, I want to say real project, because the one that I'm like, you know, actually plan out and I'm not just kind of playing with. A few little guys up here. Let's get some purple in there. I'm really liking this mop brush for that. Some blue on the other side. Sarah said, I was watching a video about making money from online from Glam and Gore. How funny that you mentioned Glam and Gore. I just started watching her. She is hilarious. And she says no to probably 95% of everything that's offered her. Yeah, that's about what I do too. I don't accept, like, I don't know, it's not worth it to me and my brand to start recommending things just because I'm being paid for it, but things that I don't personally believe in using. Like, it's not something I would really recommend. So, it's funny. I just found her like a couple of days ago. That's somebody who I've been watching on YouTube lately. It was recommended and she's hilarious. Plus she has, I'm pretty sure it's an Alaskan Chalky. I used to do a lot of shows with those guys. Or the people who owned them, the club that owned them with the UKC, put on a lot of shows that I used to show my studio assistants at. Those dogs are noisy. They make the funniest noises when they're in the crate, like they're talking when they want out. They're funny. Anyway, those of you who do not watch Glam and Gore have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, let's be realistic. Chances are no one ever knows what I'm talking about because I ramble. Gail says I must have Pan Pastels now. Well, I'm glad we can all share in this new addiction together. like, I thought, like, okay, they'll be okay. I'll be able to work from them. I can do a project. I know that it's a good brand, so it's something I'm willing to give a try just because, I mean, they've got a great reputation. But I didn't think I didn't think it would be this enjoyable. I didn't think I would have this much fun playing with them. And then there's a mountain scene. I left room if I wanted to. I'm not going to mess with it tonight. But there is like a little mountain scene down there that could be added to this. But I think this is a good place to just have gotten an idea of how they... And another thing I wanted to do... Let's mix a little violet in here. Just to get a feel of how they mix. I just can't believe, too, they mix so well. Like, not just mixing, but like actual color mixing from the set that I have here. You can mix so much with these 20 colors. I think that it would be a lot easier too. Like if you're somebody who finds you're having a hard time with color mixing, don't go out with whatever medium you're working in. Don't go out and think, I'm going to buy 800 tubes of paint. Okay, that's over exaggerating, but you don't need to use every color. Or if you get a big set, like you've got a big set of 120 colored pencils, don't feel like you have to use every pencil in the set. Use 5 pencils, no more than 10. Less than 10 ideally to start with. Get a feel for those colors, working with them, blending with those. You're going to learn so much more than trying to use every color ever made, ever. But this is a nice set. The 20 that it came with is like, I'm really, really happy with how well they mix, how well they blend. Like these colors that I came up with or was able to get, they're really nice. So, and I mean, this is one, like, if I really wanted to go over and make it pop more, I probably would use a pencil with the white. I might be able to do some. Let's just do a little more touch-up. Let's see if I can brighten this up a bit more. Little Brick Art Studio said, I bought the Polychromos bought the Faber-Castell color pencils based on your review. I hope you liked them. Yeah, those, I was so happy once I tried those, because I had thought for years, I mean, you're told Prismacolor's the best. It's the only option, and I was so frustrated with them that I just didn't want to use colored pencil anymore. So when I found those, that was a big happy moment for me. Yeah, Sarah Makes Art said, she said with, talking about Glam and Gore, she said with a very large audience, you also get a lot of offers that have nothing to do with the content of your channel. Oh my God, you are so right on, or she's so right on that. All the time. Here, make a video on this beanbag share. They've been contacting me again. Make a video on this like super random thing that has nothing to do with, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I've gotten recently where I'm like, and the way that they write it is like, we love the content of your channel and we think you'd be a great fit for our product. No, I really wouldn't. Like, you didn't even watch. Like, I know you didn't watch. All they're doing is looking at the numbers. Oh, you've got a big audience, so we want you to advertise. Not like this is actually a fit. They're not paying attention to who their target market is, I guess. And the thing is, though, as much as I kind of talk crap about that, I also have a lot of respect for companies who realize that you can market through YouTube, that you can do advertisements through YouTube. I love that companies are realizing that that's kind of a better way to go than, like, traditional media. That's a good thing, but because of what I do, like, I would feel super sleazy recommending something or advertising something that I didn't really use. Even if it didn't have anything to do with my channel, if it's something that I personally use a lot of, I would tell you guys about it if it's just something I'm excited about. But I'd have to be, like, super excited about it to do it. It's just not, for me, worth the money to recommend things or advertise things that are not my favorite things. Ursi said, oh, there, we're not scroll too far. Ursi said, it looks like you're having a lot of fun. Lisa, the best. Yeah, I really am. Valerie said, Lisa, can I say, see, I told you now, or what about the Pan Pastels? Yes, you can. I'm never going to hear the end of this from you guys, am I? Brooke said, for backgrounds and colored pencil drawings, do you think you can get the same effect with Pan Pastels as with the airbrush? Yeah, probably. Very, very similar, if not exactly the same. I mean, it would, because that's the thing with Pan Pastels, the way that it blends, this looks like I airbrushed it. The background in here looks like something I would have done with an airbrush. Or, well, okay, it actually looks a little less soft, what you guys are seeing than what I'm seeing. But, yeah, I do think you could. Dixie Art said, how do you spell Jaime Jimenez? It's with a J. J-A-M-I-E, J-I-M-E, but J's instead of H. Does he have a social media? He does, but he never posts. So and you wouldn't even see the stuff that I saw that, like, inspired me so much. He, like, seriously never posts anymore. I don't know why. Okay, let's... it's late. I was like, I'm going to try to do the paper thing to get the sharp edge, but we're late. It's already... I think this gave us a pretty good idea of how well these work. So that will be it for me for this one for tonight. Answer a couple more questions. Make sure I'm caught up with you guys. Christine said... Oh, where did it go? Christine said... Is this the time you usually stream? It is. European resident here, so I don't think I will get any sleep today. Oh no, I'm sorry. If you're, I don't know if you're on Patreon. On Patreon, I am doing a special Patreon only live stream on this Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Time. So that one is more suitable for those of you who are over in Europe. That one is going to be a watercolor pencil rose. As we said, happy little clouds. Yes. As we said, I can die happy now. You've used pastels. Seriously, you guys are a bad influence on me. Star Droplet said, I can't believe you're doing this, and the painting looks beautiful. Thank you. I'm not a fan of pastels, but ironically, this piece you are doing may inspire me to try. Yeah, it really, I mean, you can do a lot with it. You can blend, it's just the ease that you can blend with these. And they're very forgiving. I mean, if you have something like right there, I'm like, oh, I want to soften that out. Done. And you can't even tell that I softened it later. If that were oil painting or if it were acrylic paint, you know, you can see those lines. It is very easy to get certain things like this. And really, pastel pencils is the same. I love the look of pastel pencils. That combined with pastel, the pan pastels would be amazing. I just can't get over the feel for it, so it's not a suitable choice for me. But I think that combining this with colored pencil, actually, I'm curious. I want to see how much... because I know in theory how it works, but I've not actually done it with this. 1 second. I'm going to try one thing. I just want to see how, when I go over it with the colored pencil, how much I'm able to blend in with that. And this is going to be with the polychromos. So... experiment time. So I know polychromos works really nicely on pan pastel, or on, I'm sorry, on sanded paper, but I'm curious with the blending and such. That's a bit harsh looking. That doesn't look amazing. I mean, it blends out kind of like the pastels do. So I could see where that would be. I might want to spray the workable fixative because this is just kind of blending in with it. I'm thinking the workable fixative first. And then this. I'm going to save this piece. I'm not just going to like put it away because what I'll do when I start the bigger project, I'm going to test things on this. Like what happens if I put this pencil on top of that? I'm going to use this as kind of my test to see like right now where I just tried with the colored pencil. I'm like, I think I would need to put a workable fixative first, kind of seal the pastels down. I think would look a little bit better, but I'm going to have to experiment with that. Sarah Makes Art said, Glamangora said someone wanted her to promote gaskets. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the really funny things. I've been contacted a lot lately with people wanting me to promote things, and I'm like, what? Like, what? Marjorie Burns said, your first pan pastel painting is great, very pretty. Thank you. And they are creamy. Thanks. Let's see. Esme said, this dude, LOL, asking for free art. Who's asking for free art? Rose said, calling Shalene to let her know how much fun you had today. Is this image from Pixabay? Yes, it is. Dixie Art said, this looks so good. Thank you. Julia said, what do you do if the client don't want the commission anymore and you already finished it? Any tips to avoid this client? Yes. You always, I don't care if it's a friend, a family member, whatever, if somebody is commissioning you to actually paint something for them, you always take at least a 50% deposit. Always. And that deposit, you let them know, and this needs to be in writing. So it can be, the writing can be an email. That's fine. But something that shows that you are letting them know that deposit is non-refundable. So if they decide after they've hired you to do something that they either, because I've had it happen usually where someone hires me and then, oh, I don't have money this week. Oh, I need to get paid again. I don't have money, which, you know, happens. Don't commission me to do something that you don't have, that you can't afford. Art is a luxury item. I'm not withholding, you know, water or like heat and whatever, electricity. I'm not withholding things you actually need. So don't come to me, expect me to draw something for you and not pay me. That's what that deposit is for. And as long as you require that deposit, you pretty much will never have that happen where somebody, like I've never had somebody come back and not pay me once I started demanding a deposit. I used to do a minimum $100 deposit, but now I do a 50%. And if they change their mind, I keep that money. That money covers my cost, my time, and that artwork that I did, the commission for them, I now have the right to sell. It's mine. I'm not giving it to them. That the deposit does not cover that commission. The deposit that they get the painting for just that amount. The other thing is, if you can do something in like your contract or in the email, let them know like you have till this time, like 2 months to pay me. If you don't pay me after that, I can resell this painting. So I wouldn't sell it right away. If the I only really had it, actually I had it happen once after I required the deposit, but it was someone who had kind of lost her mind and was like yelling at me about something. She was mad because she wanted me to live with her, and there was some weird drama that was just, let's just go with weird. But she got super weird. She started out as a really good client, like a really good client. She bought a ton of stuff from me. She didn't live in the same state as me. Like I didn't know her like a personal friend like that. But she got to where she started getting really weird and expecting me to be like, I don't know, her best friend, or I don't know what the deal was, but she started getting weird. If like she had had a surgery and I didn't know about it, and she freaked out because I didn't make a big deal about it. I'm like, I didn't even know about it. Okay, whatever. So it started getting weird. But she had hired me to do these swans, and I never liked the design, but she loved it. That's what she wanted. She approved the design, and I took the deposit. It was $100. I think I ended up with $150, and it was 2 paintings. So yeah, it would have been about a 50% deposit, about a 50%. So she paid that, and she had bought a bunch of other things, but then she kept not sending me the rest of the money. Oh, I'll get the money from my husband. Oh, I'll get the money. And she had bought so many things before that I had gotten kind of lax with her about making sure it was the exact amount of the deposit I normally took. But she had her meltdown, the thing I was just talking about with the surgery that I didn't know about. She had her meltdown, and I had to basically just fire her as a client. But I told her, you know, you need to pay off these paintings, because she had several that I had on hold for her that were other ones that I painted that weren't specifically for her. She just wanted them. And she just refused to come up with the money, but still expected me to send her the swans. And I'm like, then she wanted me to put the money from the swans towards one of the other paintings, and I'm like, no, because I can't resell the swans. Nobody wants them. They were accustomed to her decor. They're really an odd look. But anyway, with her, I kept the deposit. I'm like, no, that deposit went towards those paintings. If you don't want those paintings, I'm not putting that money towards a different painting. That's not how this works. You had me do something very specific to you that I can't easily turn around and sell. So I ended up keeping those paintings for about a year to make sure she didn't come back and go, fine, here's the rest of the money, just because I didn't want to end up with any weird legal issues with her. And I ended up getting her, I ended up giving those to somebody else as a gift, another family member who liked those colors. But hang on, like, don't turn around and sell the painting tomorrow. Make sure they know, like, this is the deadline. If you don't give me the money, but you know, if it's not paid for by here, I keep the deposit, because that right there is going to get rid of most of the people who are going to hire you and never pay you. That it happens all the time. Like, it is so common for people to get excited. They want a painting, and it's not even that they don't like the finished result. It's that they're like, oh, I don't actually have the money for that. So always get a deposit. That's just a big deal. Gail said, that's a great idea to save this trial piece to test things. Let's see. Neil, I can't say that. We're going to, Neil said, sorry, the Wi-Fi went off for a bit. Couldn't keep up. Gail said, have to go. Have a good one. Thanks. Thanks for joining, Gail. Morticia said, you're a great artist. Thank you. This is the first experimental piece is a proof of that. Thank you so much. Ursi said, there's a pastel brush you can buy to use them. Ooh, I'm going to need to look into that too. I apparently need to make a shopping list. Mishi Fine Art said, best medium to travel with, go camping for a week. I don't know. I would still for me, I would still go with, are you asking me for the best medium, or are you saying this is the best medium? If you're asking, we'll assume that was the question. If you're asking for the best medium, for me, if I were going to go camping and I wanted something that's lightweight and easy to bring with me, I would bring my Inktense travel pan set, hands down. But add a white Inktense block to it. It's like my only complaint about that set is that it didn't have white in it. But that travel set, I definitely, personally think Inktense would be my favorite. George Jimenez said, hello, question, how many medias should an artist prepare? How many medias should an artist prepare for an AP portfolio to be able to do? Do art schools look for versatility rather than skill? No. I would say skill, but then skill is going to be subjective. I can't tell you how many medias that I would talk to. What school you're trying to get into, there should be a counselor that you can go talk to, or a teacher, and find out what they're looking for. They should give you, it's going to depend where you're going or who you talk to. It's not, and it's not something, it's not a numbers thing. It would be far better for you to have 5 super amazing, consistently good pieces than 20 mediocre or bad pieces. If that helps. But see if there is a counselor at your school that you can talk to, or a teacher at your school or at that school. Find out what they're looking for. Talk to them, because they should have that information for you. Okay. I think we are done for the night. See, Gail says, you actually save us money by letting us know what is top quality and what is crap. Thanks. That's what I hope to do. I hope to, because I know when I started out with art, I mean, art supplies get expensive. Oh, I know. You can see what's in my studio right now. Most of this I bought myself, and it took years to get all of those. And I didn't know. I mean, I remember going into Michael's, and I had no idea what was good or what was bad, and I had to learn from trial and error. And I bought a lot of paint brushes that it's like, oh, like fan brushes. That is the most use. I don't use fan brushes almost ever. They're not as useful as you think, because I wasn't using them for the right purposes. There are times when our fan brush is good, but I mean, I didn't know, and I spent a lot of money finding out the hard way that things weren't a good fit for what I was trying to do. So I'm glad to hear that I'm saving you and helping with that, because that's definitely, I want to help you guys in a way that, like, what help would I have wanted when I started out? So that's what I really hope to do. Mara said, are you going to use pastel pencils with the pans? Nope. Just colored pencils. Probably just colored pencils. I don't see myself, like, pastel pencils, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind sometime, but I still am just like, I don't like how they feel. Christine said, I've wondered this a long time. Is redrawing a real-life photo a reference, a copy, or trace? Is drawing from a real-life photo looked down on? Depends on who you ask. Drawing from a reference photo, if you want something to look realistic, if you're working in photorealism, photo is in the term. Photo is what you're doing. You're working from a photo. It's in the definition. So that, I mean, that's how you do photorealism. You have a reference photo. And it's the only people who look down upon it are children who don't understand what like how artists paint and draw. Those are the people who usually, like kids, young kids, or not even super young, like teenagers. I see it a lot, where they think you have to draw everything from your head. It's not how it works. It's never how it works. Like, even if you look at the old masters, they had somebody sitting in front of them that they were using for reference. There's always reference. Now, we're lucky that we can work from photograph. And you'll hear people go, oh, if you work from photograph, it's going to be flat. You can't make it 3-dimensional. That's bull. It's just not true. If you look at any of my portraits, you look at my wildlife, well, some of them are flat. But, I mean, the ones where I did a good job on, they're not flat. So, don't, you're going to, no matter, here's the thing. No matter what you do, whether it be art, whether it be music, whatever it is you do, you're going to have somebody out there telling you what it is, what you're doing, and the way you're doing it is wrong. Ignore those people. You do what makes you happy, what you enjoy. I don't care if somebody thinks if somebody thinks that tracing's cheating. Go for it. You can think it's cheating if you want. If I think it saved me time, I'm going to do it. If there's just no, you're not going to make everybody happy no matter what it is in life you're doing. Figure out the way that you like to produce art. Figure out the tools that you like to use and go with that. It doesn't matter if some random person who doesn't matter because they probably weren't going to buy from you in the first place. It doesn't matter if they don't like it or don't respect it. I probably don't respect half the stuff they do. Only I'm polite enough that I wouldn't verbalize that to them. But don't get hung up on what somebody else thinks is acceptable or looked down upon. Create good art. That to me is all that matters. The end result, the art that you create, that's what matters. If that means using a reference photo, if that means tracing, if that means using an eraser. Some people say using an eraser is wrong. I mean, whatever it takes for you to produce the artwork that you like, do it. And those who don't like it, they don't matter. They just don't. They think they matter. They have a huge sense of self-importance, but it's not real. Ursi said, you can charge more for pastels because you're paying for expertise of art. Eric Draw said, Aunt Lisa, thanks for the advice, LOL. Brent said, I bet they show up in a smart art box soon. That would be funny. Let's see. As me said, only elitists think photorealism is an art. Absolutely true. I've gotten so much crap because I work in this area. Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. You could do abstract, and then the photorealism people who are jerks and think they need to verbalize everything that crosses their mind are going to go and tell you the person who does abstract, it's not real art, because I can't tell what it is. It's not photorealism, so it's not real. No matter what field you go into, what style, anything you think of, you're going to have a group of people telling you it's wrong and it's not real art. It doesn't matter. And the people who do that, there's something wrong with the way their brain works and the fact that no one taught them manners. Or I think that a lot of it is that they've got this like inflated sense of self-worth that is kind of hilarious, but it's not like what they think just doesn't matter. So don't ever let that be a hang up for you. I'm tired and words are hard. Andrew said watercolor tips. Well, yes, go to Lena Danya's channel. She's really good at I mean, I do watercolor pencil, but I don't do traditional watercolor. So I actually, I mean, I'll have some more videos coming up, but we're at the end of the live stream, so I'm not going to start a whole conversation on watercolor. Maybe at the beginning of next time we'll talk about some tips on that. But I've got a couple of videos if you want to watch those on. I did the Derwent watercolor pencils and the Caran d'Ache watercolor pencils are wonderful. I love them both, and I've got lots of tips for you on those videos. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm so tired. My brain is just mush right now. I will talk to you guys next week. And make sure, again, check out our moderators channels, Valerie and The Art of Joseph Fincham. The links are in the video description. They have great art channels, and tell them thank you by subscribing, because they really help me up a lot. Help me up a lot. Help me out. Oh, God, I'm tired. I'm done. We're done. I'll talk to you guys next week.